Hello students, today I am going to start your first unit, which is vector and classical mechanics. So you already know your syllabus is that your first unit is vector and classical mechanics, and paper number is 103, and title of paper is mechanics and optics. So this first one, or this first unit, is based on the mechanics. Actually it is also known as mechanics in physics. So in this unit, particular unit, also we have two different kind of topic, which is vector and classical mechanics. Actually classical mechanics is not explainable without vector analysis. So first of all we are going to study vector analysis, and then we study the some topics from classical mechanics. This all the topics is the actually fundamental analysis of vectors, and you already know the concept of basic concept of vector, and you used vector analysis in so many ways in your 11th 12th standard physics, because without vector quantities, or without vector analysis, you one cannot define the some physical fundamental physical quantities like velocity, momentum, acceleration, electric field. So that all quantities is not possible to explain without vector analysis. So in vector analysis also we have two different kind of separation. The first one is vector. So this all topic all these topics are from vector, and last one is classical mechanics. So here we have a surface area as a vector, scalar triple product, geometrical interpretation of scalar triple product, rotational behavior of scalar triple product, vector triple product, reciprocal vector, and the derivatives of vector. Uh, Actually, this all topics is the theory topics, but not so much lengthy topic. It is they it this all these topics is the content is very small, but the application of this topic is a kind of a formula that we can use to solve various kind of examples. So vector theory is very much small content wise, but the application of this theory is very much important for your example solution. Second is differentiation of vectors. So uh, this four topics is introduced in this year only. So before, in our previous syllabus we are not including this divergent curl in semester 1, but this is new concept for your study purpose. So first one is formula of differentiation of vector. This all topics is explain the differentiation of vector actually. So gradient of a scalar field, divergence of vector field, and curl of vector field. Now next is classical mechanics. So based on vector analysis, we explain the Newton's law of motion, frame of reference, and mechanics of particles. So Newton's law of motion, so you already know the laws of motion, right? So, and you also know the frame of references. So this third one topic is new for you. So mechanics of particles, and the last one is example. So based on this all this theory, we can calculate so many examples uh, with the help of our equations. So let us start with the beginning. I'm today I'm talking about only the revision part of your vector analysis. So starting from the beginning, first of all, what is scalar quantity? So you know that the quantities are divided into two different way, which is scalar quantity and vector quantity. So the definition of scalar quantity is uh, defined as the physical quantity which magnitude with magnitude and not direction. some physical quantities can be described just by their numerical values without direction, so and with their respective unit. Not only numerical value, but numerical value with their respective unit without direction, then it is called scalar quantity. The addition of this physical quantity follows the simple rules of the algebra. Here only their magnitudes are added. So the examples of scalar quantities are mass, speed, distance, time, area, volume, density and temperature. So you know that if we consider mass of any object, then if we consider 50 kg, then we doesn't need any direction to explain this physical quantity. So 50 kg is our final answer, then it is a scalar quantity. But the unit is very much important, because if we are not putting the unit or we, then it is only 50, so then it is not considered as any physical quantity. Same if we consider 50 kilometer per hour, then it is speed. So in speed also we doesn't require direction. Then in time is also doesn't require any direction, and the rest of the quantities, yeah, then you easily imagine that these all are the scalar quantities. Then vector quantity. Vector quantity is defined as a physical quantity that has both direction as well as magnitude. So vector is defined as a that vector quantity is having direction and magnitude both. So the example of various examples of vector quantities are linear momentum, acceleration, displacement, momentum, angular velocity, force, electric field and polarization. Suppose we imagine that the force, without the direction of force, we cannot imagine the quantity, this physical quantity. That means if we describe that we applied force on an object and the force value is 50 Newton, but we cannot describe that the direction of force is in positive x direction, or it is in positive y or negative y direction, then we cannot consider that how much displacement of a body is happened, or how much acceleration is produced in that body. And at the same time, if we consider that the body is rotating in a circular way or in a rotational way, then we can consider the angular velocity of that body or that particle. But then also we identify the direction of a force, or the direction or direction of a velocity or component of a velocity. So all these quantities is required direction as well as magnitude, then it is called as a vector quantity. And here I mentioned that how we represent the vector quantity. So the head, so you know that it is u cap. So u cap is mentioned as a vector quantity of that particular physical quantity. Sometimes u cap is also mentioned as a unit vector, and if it is arrow here, then it is only a vector quantity. This is the small difference between the scalar and vector. So I discussed it already, but here I mention it in the different way, that definition wise what is the difference between scalar and vector, representation wise what is the difference between scalar and vector, what is the difference between symbols and directions and examples. So this is only example type of representation. You can learn it for your single MCQs. So it will help you to cover single marks for your examination. So now introduction of vector. What is the definition or basic concept? So what vector is the object that has both magnitude and direction. So both is important. So geometrically we can picture a vector as a directed line segment whose length is the magnitude of the vector and with an arrow indicating the direction. So the direction of the vector is from its tail to its head. So this is tail, this is head, the direction of vector indicating here, and the length of this vector is the magnitude of that vector. Suppose it is a 5 and this is the vector representation of force, then it is 5 Newton. And if the direction of this vector is in positive x direction, then it is a 5 Newton I cap, right? Because it is in because the force is in the direction of positive x and the magnitude of force is 5, so it is 5 Newton. Two vectors, sometimes two vectors are the same if they have the same magnitude and direction, so it is simple. Two examples of vectors are those that represent force and velocity, so I already discussed it, and both force and velocity are in particular directions. So velocity and force is having a direction. The magnitude of a vector would indicate that the strength of the force or the speed associated with the velocity. So what is the value of magnitude? So magnitude indicating the, if force is, if you consider force, then magnitude is considering the strength. Means if we consider 5 Newton, then the 5 is the magnitude, and if we consider 15 Newton, then automatically 15 Newton is having a greater strength than 5 Newton. Now operations on vectors. So there are so much uses of vector algebra actually. So first of all, here I discussed addition, subtraction and multiplication by scalar. By scalar, that means that we are not considering here any geometrical representation or geometrical reference points. So without any geometrical reference point, we consider only addition, subtraction and multiplication. So that is why it is called by scalar. We discussed two different ways to multiply two vectors together, which is dot product and cross product. So dot and cross, I discussed it. I discussed this in my later slides. So addition of vector. So this is vector A. So on head I put vector B, so it is B. So this is also the resultant vector, so it is a plus B. So this is called the addition of vector, sum of vector, that is A and B. This is the law of addition. A plus B is equal to B plus A, because here there is no negative sign, so whichever the value would be calculated from A plus B, it is the same from B plus A. So this is the law. If we have a commutative law, then it is A plus into bracket B plus A. Then we can also write it like this: A plus B plus C. So commutative law, which states the order of addition, doesn't matter. So A plus B is equal to B plus A. So here I generate one parallelogram with the help of vector A and B. So A plus B, so here A, so this is also A and it is B. So A plus B is equal to B plus A. This law is also called the parallelogram law, as illustrated in the above image. Two of the edges of the parallelogram define A plus B and the other pair of edges define B plus A, but both sums are equal to the same diagonal of the parallelogram. So it is the same, because that is why it is equal. A plus B is equal to B plus A. This is also known as a resultant vector. I also mentioned it. I also mentioned the equation of a resultant vector. So subtraction of vector. Before we define subtraction, we define the vector minus a, which is the opposite of a, and the vector minus a is the vector with the same magnitude, and a, but that is pointed in the opposite direction. So this is vector a, this is opposite of a, that is minus a, but the magnitude is same here. So it is plus a and it is minus a. But in this case, a plus b is not equals to b minus a, because the sign is changing, the direction of vector is also changing, though then the value is not equal. But in plus, it is equal. A plus b is equal to b plus a. But minus, it is not considering equal. Next is unit vector. So usually we use the term direction vector to describe a unit vector to represent the spatial vectors. So here I mentioned three-dimensional figure, which is x, which represent x, y and z, and this is actually, this vector is representing the direction of vector, which is also known as a unit vector. There are so many different definitions for unit vector, but once you understand the meaning of unit vector, then it will be easier. So it is better that you learn or you understand the equation of unit vector. So it is much better and much easier to understand unit vector. So equation of unit vector is vector upon magnitude of vector. Suppose our vector is xi plus yj and zk, and you know that x, y, z is the magnitude considering from these three axes, and I, j and k is representation of a vector. So xi, yj and zk, this is also known as the component of a vector. It is in three dimensions, that is why it is I, j and k. Now magnitude of vector v, that is magnitude of v is equal to into root x square plus y square plus z square. Now what we can do is vector is xi plus yj plus zk upon magnitude of vector. So this is our final unit vector equation. So whatever the direction of vector, whether it is in x, y, z in three dimension, or it is in only xy plane only, or it is in yz plane only, so we can easily calculate the unit vector with the help of this equation. Then it is zero vector. Zero means vector with zero magnitudes and arbitrary directions is a zero vector. It can be represented by O, or it is also known as a null vector. So this is zero vector, this is vector. Vector A is having some magnitude, but it is there is no magnitude, so it is zero vector. Then parallel vectors. A and B are said to be parallel vectors if they have the same direction or may not have equal magnitude. Equal magnitude is not important in parallel vector, but the direction is same, then it is a parallel vector. Or if it is in opposite direction, then A is anti-parallel to B. If it is in opposite, then it is a anti-parallel or parallel. Coplanar vectors. Then if vector lies in same plane or they are parallel to the same plane, then vectors are said to be coplanar. And if it is not, then vectors are said to be non-planar vectors. Now resultant vector. So I already explained a plus b. So a plus b, so this is our resultant vector. So it is also mentioned as a r is equal to a plus b. Whatever the symbol may be, r is equal to a plus b, and magnitude of r is our resultant into bracket a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. So where is cos theta? This is our cos theta. It is theta. So we take the theta and calculate the equation. Then it become like this: a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. I am not mentioning the calculation of this equation because you already studied in your 11th standard. So vector representation in Cartesian coordinate system. So this is Cartesian coordinate system. I mentioned here it is in 2 dimension. So x and y. So this is our vector A, which is in xy plane. So projection of vector A on x axis is m, and projection of A on y axis is n. So this is indicating x coordinate and this is y coordinate. So this is first equation: A is equal to ax plus ay, also known as a axi plus ayj. Now if we take cos theta here, then cos theta is ax upon a. Ax upon a. Cos theta is equal to ax upon a. So ax is equal to a cos theta. Similarly, ay is equal to a sin theta. If we take ratio of and take tan theta is also known as the slope of this triangle. So tan theta is equal to y by x. Y, this is y by x. So y is ay, x is ax. So ay by ax. So magnitude of a. So it is tan theta. So we can also calculate the theta with the help of this equation. We also calculate theta with the help of this equation also. Ay is equal to a sin theta. So sin theta gives the value of this theta. And the last one is magnitude of vector A or resultant vector A, that is ax square plus ay square into root. Now scalar product of two vectors. Scalar product of two vectors. So a dot b. So you know that dot product is representing cos theta. So a dot b is ab cos theta. We can also write it like a dot b is equal to b dot a. In cross product it is inverse. A dot b plus c is equal to a dot b plus a dot c. What is the meaning of ab cos theta? So if we change the value of theta from 0 to 180 degree, then the value of ab will be changed. So you know that if cos is 0, means theta is 0, then cos 0 is 1. Then it is a dot b is equal to ab. And if it is 180, then it is minus 1. Then it is minus ab. But you know that cos 90 is 0. Then a dot b is become 0. So dot product in between 0 to 180, once upon a time, means at 90 degree, the dot product is become 0. In first quadrant, a dot b will be increased, means from 0, maximum on 0 it is maximum, then it will decrease and it become minus at 180 degree. So and in rest of the rotation 180 to 360 it will change vice versa, and I dot I, j dot j, k dot k is 1. I dot j, that means it is 90 angle. This is also 90 angle. This is 90 angle. So that is why it is a 0. So only 3 values are considered. I dot I, j dot j and k dot k is 1. Other than that, all the values are 0. So this is scalar product of two vectors. Now vector product of these are some another equations. Suppose we have 3 components: axi, ayj, zk, which is vector A, vector B. Now what is the equation of a dot b? So a dot b is equal to, so I already discussed that I dot I, j dot j and k dot k is 1, but this is 0. Then only I component is representing, then I dot j is 0, I dot k is also 0, then only ax bx. Same way j dot j is 1, so ay by, and k dot k is 1, that is why az bz. So this is the simple equation of a dot b. Another equation is, suppose a dot b, we take the value of a dot b in this equation, right? So we can calculate cos theta here. So this is cos theta, ax bx ay by az bz upon magnitude of vector a and magnitude of vector b. So this is another formula for to find out the value of theta. Now vector product of two vectors. So this is vector product a cross b, because cross product is gives the direction of two vectors. So a dot b is ab sin theta, n cap is a unit vector. So here we are introducing the direction of a vector, and a cross b is not equals to b cross a, because the direction is changing. That is why it is not possible that we can write like this, a cross b is equal to minus b cross a. But yes, if we take magnitude of this cross product, then it will become equal, because you know that if we take magnitude, then this value is convert in a positive manner. So it is possible that a cross b is equal to b cross a. Without magnitude, if we write this in equal formation, then we mention minus here, then it will become similar. Now a cross b plus c is equal to a cross b plus b cross c. So this is also one kind of formulation for a vector product of two vectors. So this is the clockwise anti-clockwise rule for cross product. So I cross j is give you k, right? You can use right hand thumb rule for to check the direction of vectors. So I cross j is equal to k, j cross k is equal to I, and k cross I is equal to j. If we are going in the anti-clockwise direction, j cross I is equal to minus k, k cross j is equal to minus I, and I cross k is equal to minus j. So this is simple one rotational figure. In clockwise direction it is positive, and in anti-clockwise direction it is negative. Means j cross I cross k, and k cross j, it is negative. But I cross j is positive, I cross k is positive, and k cross I is positive. But the direction is always perpendicular to resultant vector direction is always perpendicular with this plane. So I cross j direction is in resultant direction is in k direction. Means if it is xy plane, then resultant is in z plane. And I cross I, j cross j, and k cross k is 0. So it is also explainable with the help of this equation also. If we put sin theta, means theta is 0 here, so sin 0 is 0, then it is the resultant is 0, a cross b. Now if it is 90, then sin 90 is 1, then it is maximum, a cross b is equal to ab. At 180 degree it is also 0, and at 270 degree it is minus, so a cross b is equal to minus ab. So at sin 90 and sin 270 degree, means sin pi by 2 and sin 3 pi by 2, it is plus 1 and minus 1, and at sin 0 and sin pi it become 0. So exactly opposite to the our scalar product. But in vector product, we got the resultant vector in a perpendicular direction. So this is the only difference between these two cross product and dot product. So finally, a cross b is equal to ijk, ax, ay, az, bx, by and bz. This is the simple rule to calculate a cross b formula. So I think I cover most of the equations from your 11th-12th standard, and these all equations are useful to solve different example from this unit, because I already told you that theory is not lengthy in this topic, but we can combine theory with examples, so that it is better to uh, solve example also and prepare theory also. So you I know that you already know this all the things, but it is better to revise once, and in next lecture we can start our next theory topics. So today I stop here.